안녕하세요. 미국주식으로 은퇴하기 미주은입니다. 긍정적인 에너지를 가득 안고 이번 한 주도 멋지게 만들어가고 계시리라고 믿습니다. 지난 방송에서는요, 미주은 채널 개설 이후 최초로 인터뷰 방송을 기획해 봤었는데요. 제가 기대했던 것보다 반응이 너무 좋아서 깜짝 놀랐습니다. 앞으로 멋진 분들도 계시면요, 인터뷰도 가끔 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 지난 방송 보시고 데이브리 유튜브 채널이 뭐냐고 문의하신 분들이 많이 계셨는데요. 유튜브 들어가셔서 데이브리 온 인베스팅 검색하시면 찾으실 수 있습니다. 이번에 기획한 데이브리와의 인터뷰는요, 크게 세 부분으로 나누어지는데요. 첫 번째는 지난 방송에서 보내드린 데이브리의 테슬라 투자 여정 함께 하셨고요. 마지막 방송은 제가 데이브리가 바라보는 테슬라의 미래를 준비해 봤습니다. 그리고 오늘 함께 하실 내용은요, 데이브리가 추천하는 제2의 테슬라는 이라는 주제로 마련해 봤습니다. 그리고 추가로 데이브리는 지금 테슬라에 몰빵을 하고 있는 걸 우리가 알고 있잖아요. 그래서 데이브리가 생각하는 분산투자는 어떤 것이며 지금 데이브리는 안전성을 좀 높이기 위해서 어떠한 식으로 분산투자를 나름대로 진행하고 있는지 이 부분에 대한 토론도 조금 해봤습니다. 이 부분도 기대해 주시기 바랍니다. 그럼 데이브리가 최근 꽂혀 있는 종목들을 알아보기 위해 바로 시작합니다. Interesting, because yesterday I uploaded one video and the topic was diversification. So you just told me that 95% of your investment in Tesla, right?
Yeah.
So what is your opinion in terms of diversification for stock investment?
I actually agree with diversification is a very important principle. I think there's two ways to approach it. One way is you could try the typical approach of diversifying your assets into many different stocks or even categories of investments, like stocks and real estate and other things. Another way to approach diversification is you have to think, what is the purpose of diversification, right? And the purpose of diversification is usually safety or preservation.
Of course.
What is the purpose of preservation, right? And in my opinion, the purpose of most people's preservation is they want to have enough money to be able to have safety and retirement, right? They don't want to be poor later on. So if you can solve this safety problem first and really have, like, for example, if you have an income producing real estate that covers your living expenses, right? Then that gives you some safety. That's your diversification in a way. And then that can allow you to approach other investing a little bit differently, right? I think, in my opinion, sometimes people try to do so much diversification that they miss out on the big opportunities with stocks or investing because they're too scared, because they only want to do 5% each stock, right? But I understand my approach is very difficult for a lot of people because it takes a lot of time and energy to create kind of a safe investment where you get income and you kind of solve that problem. It could take many, many years, right?
That's
to do
right.
that.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's not a typical approach, but for me, I love the approach because, on one hand, I have a safe investment, safe income, and then I have another kind of investment or portfolio where I could just go for it, and take big risks. Yeah, with that.
I see. So once you have enough safety net on the side, that the rest of the investment could be, focused on one stock, two stocks. That's what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, if you don't have that kind of safety nest, then in my opinion, you have to approach investing a little bit differently. You need to be more careful, I think. Because what if you put all your money in one stock and that stock goes to zero? Then you lose all of your investments, right? And so if you're older and you saved all of this money and you stuck it in one stock, then that's very dangerous in my opinion. If you're young, if you're like in your 20s and you put like your money in one stock, then it might not be that big of a deal because later on you could make it up very easily, right? And when I look at my Tesla investment, I always know that there is a lot of risk, obviously, with investing in especially growth stocks. And personally, the way I handle it is I separate my investments kind of in two categories. One category is I have kind of a safe, kind of income producing investments for kind of retirement or for my family. And so in the safe area, I have some real estate that is able to give us income where it provides kind of for our family, so we don't have to worry too much. And so that safe investment, because I have that, I now have more confidence to do a little bit higher risk
Risk-taking.
investment. Yeah, because even if my higher risk investment goes to zero, I'm perfectly fine. I'm happy because we still have a safe investment and we have income from that investment, and my family will be okay still. But I try to focus on low to moderate risk. Like, I don't want to go high risk and high reward. I try to do low to moderate risk, but very high reward. And I try to focus on companies that can be generational companies. So companies that can really change the life of millions and billions of people in the world. So I want a company that, for example, with the iPhone, like everyone has an iPhone or a smartphone. Or like I want to be invested in a company where everybody uses the product. It's in their daily life. They talk about it, right? And I want to invest in a company that when you look back 10 years or 20 years, you can say, wow, that company was the biggest winner, was the most innovative, the fastest growing company in the past 10 or 20 years, right? Another thing I want to invest in is I want to invest in a company that has the best product by far in its category. So I don't want a company that has like the same type of product or a little bit better than others. I want a company that has something far better than anyone else in its category. And then another criteria is I want a company that has world-class execution. I want a company that's able to execute and beat out the best in the world. So even if Apple creates a car, or Google creates a car, or Amazon creates a car, I want to invest in a company that can beat out Apple and Google and Amazon because they execute even better than those companies. And so all of these type of criteria is very, very difficult to find. I spend so much time actually researching so many companies. And what I like to do is I like to watch the CEO interviews a lot. And I like to read their annual reports. And so every week I'm reading a lot of reports and watching so much, and I'm trying to find out if this is really like the gem, the diamond. I'm trying to find the diamond. And if I can find the diamond and it's low risk, low to moderate risk with super high reward, that's what I get most excited about, right? And so with Tesla, I see Tesla, it's gone from $6 to $400 already. I think that Tesla has potential to go higher, much higher, but I also feel like I need to also look for other diamonds. And so that's where I'm always searching for other diamonds, and I'm starting to put a little bit of my money into different companies that I think might have potential. But that's kind of my focus right now in investing. I try to keep up with my Tesla investment because it's over 95% of our assets right now. So it's almost too high of a percentage, right? And I'm trying to find, that extra, the other diamonds, right? That I can grow the investments into those companies. Yeah.
You just mentioned that you are trying to find the second Tesla hidden gem. Yeah? So far, what kind of companies have caught your interest? Do you have any specific stocks you are watching at the moment?
Yeah. So recently I took a position in Lemonade Insurance. So the ticker is LMND. And I have mixed feelings about this company right now. It has potential to be actually a very big company, and they have a low valuation right now. They're growing very fast, but I'm doing a series of videos about Lemonade right now, but they also have some challenges and some weaknesses. Like, I'm not clear exactly how strong their product is, how much better it is than other insurance companies. But I'm looking into it. I started a position. Another company was Square, so it's a ticker SQ. I started a position back when it was about $60. I thought it had good growth potential. But my problem with Square is I don't know if they're the best, if their product is far better than anyone else's product in that category. And I personally like a company called Stripe.
Stripe is not public yet. It's
It's
a
not, yeah,
private
it's a
company.
private company right now, but in my opinion, they're the best executing company in the entire financial space right now. They have fantastic founders. They're growing super fast. They started with credit card payments for websites and developers, and they've branched off now to provide services for businesses, for example, to analyze their own data and operations. So you could pull in all of your business data and you can see how your business is doing and make decisions based upon this data. You know, they have so many services they're providing businesses. They're going to become, in my opinion, a huge platform for businesses to run their entire global business on, like payments and internally. But the problem is they're private right now. They'll probably go IPO in a few months. And the problem is when they go IPO, it might just skyrocket the first day because there's so much money out there right now chasing stocks,
That's right.
especially growth stocks. And so I've been trying to get some stock in Stripe right now in the private markets before it goes IPO. But there's almost nothing out there right now to get in the private market. But yeah, it depends on the valuation for Stripe. But I think Stripe can actually become a $1 trillion company within 10 years. Yeah, within 10 years. I think it could become one of the most valuable companies in the world. And the last company I'm very interested in is Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Yeah, I think they're going to go private in a couple months. But I also have my concerns with Airbnb. And so I need to research and see their S1 filing. So when they go IPO, they're going to have a long filing. And I need to really dive into, does this business really have potential to grow? And so one of my criteria also is I want to invest in a company that has, I call it a clear and probable path to do a 10x valuation in 5 to 10 years. So if possible, I want to see this company be able to grow their market cap by 10 times within 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
At least have a chance, a very good chance. And so that's very, very difficult to find. It's just, it's so difficult. And so, but that's kind of my focus a lot, with my research.
For Airbnb, do you think there could be some behavior changes after this pandemic? Because yes, I could see that Airbnb was a huge opportunity before we had this virus issue, but now people are quite afraid of being together and then go into the new place, not familiar with them, and staying in other people's house could be a bit scary now. Do you see any changes in terms of the value of the business?
Yeah, so during like the height of COVID, like in March, maybe April, Airbnb, like the bookings just tanked, and Airbnb had to do kind of emergency funding, and they got very bad terms, and the founders thought the business was going to go through a long period of downturn, Airbnb. But what happened was in a few months later, the bookings started to just go right back up. And so now they're back to normal, actually. It's like a V, complete V shape. And it surprised everybody, including the Airbnb founders. They couldn't believe it, that it could go down so fast and back up so fast. Here at least in the US and in Southern California, like things are almost back to normal. Like for example, traffic is like as bad as before. Even though some people are hesitant to travel on airplanes or let's say boats, but people love to travel still. So they'll travel locally, they'll drive to different places. And that's why also Airbnb is still very popular because people prefer it over hotels even. They prefer kind of their own type of house and stuff. So I think in a way, COVID has shown that Airbnb is actually stronger than people realize. Yeah, the
All right.
demand bounces back faster than hotels, actually,
Uh-huh.
because
Okay.
the makeup of the units are different. They're more independent.
Apart from lemonade is a bit different, but the other stocks you just mentioned, like Stripe or Square, is all fintech. So, is there any reason why you are looking into a fintech area more than others?
I try to research things that I can understand, and I try to research things that I can try out their products too. So, for example, Square has an app called Cash App where people can
Mhm.
transfer money. And so it's very, very popular here in the US. Lots of people use that
Yeah.
app. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I liked it, because I could try out the product. Another company I watch in the a little bit fintech space, but it's a little bit separate, is Shopify. And
Shopify.
Shopify is interesting company. I have some problems because it's hard to justify the valuation. Like every time I
That's
try to
right.
work out the numbers, it's like so high, the valuation. I was lucky to
Mm.
get some Shopify during COVID at cheap price, but Shopify, like if I don't think about the valuation, the company itself is very, very fascinating to me. Um, because they're creating almost an Amazon infrastructure. So if you want to
Mm.
sell a product, you go to Shopify, they create your whole store, your whole checkout system, and they will ship your product for you. You just, let's say you have
Mm.
100 necklaces you want to sell. You just ship it to Shopify. Shopify will put it in boxes, will ship it out to anyone who orders it, and will take care of returns too. Will process
Uh-huh.
everything for you. So they're kind of like they do everything for the online store, and
Uh-huh.
they're amazing company. And sometimes I like to keep watching some of these companies because even though when the stock price I think is a little high, I don't buy it, but I'm
Mhm.
waiting. I'm waiting for the
Mm.
opportunity. Like like over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it's not going to be just only smooth times. There will be times where there's a crisis or there's
Yes.
lots of bad things happening. We think the whole world is going to fall apart, and during those times, people get very confused, right? They don't know what to do, and they get so scared. But I try to
Yes.
prepare myself by knowing which companies I think are the best of the best, are the top kind of generational companies, because when the opportunity is right, those are the companies, right, that I pick up at
Mhm.
a good price. One last company I'm watching a lot is a Cloudflare. Their ticker is
Uh-huh.
NET. Yeah, and so I think they're an interesting company. I still have my concerns as well, but um, yeah, I think the difficult part with my approach is I try to research so deeply a company. Sometimes it's like endless. It just keeps on going over and over, and that's the difficulty with trying to pick and find like the diamond. Sometimes I feel
Mm.
like if I had a different approach where I had a more diversified approach, like 5%, 10%, then I wouldn't have to research as much as I do per company,
Mm.
and I
Mm.
could just, maybe just put it into more companies. So it's very challenging.
When it comes to Cloudflare, you have a very similar business model called Fastly, right? So,
hmm
now what do you see as a difference between Fastly and Cloudflare?
I think Cloudflare, you know, they already have a strong kind of footprint with websites and domains. So, for example, I actually have a lot of different websites we run with our business, and the traffic needs to go through Cloudflare to prevent kind of like this, they call DDoS attacks. So sometimes
Mhm.
a hacker can overwhelm your website with millions and millions of attacks, and so Cloudflare prevents that, protects your website for that. But they
Mhm.
give it for free, that service.
Oh,
So yeah, so you
okay.
just sign up your website and you get that protection for free. And so Cloudflare has almost the entire market of that service because it's free. And then from that, then they try to upsell different services. So they say, oh, we can make your website traffic faster. We can
Mm.
improve your service on your website, and then they try to sell you more services. And so what it comes down to, in my opinion, is execution. Which company is going to execute better and faster and provide more value to the end customer, right? And that company is going to win in the end. And I'm still not sure exactly which company, and I have some concerns with Cloudflare, but I think they're definitely in an interesting market. Both of them actually, Fastly and Cloudflare.
오늘 제가 준비한 내용은 여기까지입니다. 제 나름대로는 정말 열심히 편집했는데요. 생각보다 자막 넣는 작업이 쉽지가 않네요. 그래서 이렇게 짧은 영상 3개로 나누어서 보내드리는 점 이해해 주시기 바랍니다. 이번 시리즈 3번째 방송 바로 준비할 테니까요. 조금만 기다려 주세요. 그리고 저는 다음 방송 데이브 리가 생각하는 테슬라의 미래라는 주제를 가지고 다시 인사드리도록 하겠습니다. 우리 모두가 미국 주식 투자로 은퇴하는 그날까지 다 함께 화이팅입니다. 행복한 하루 되세요. 감사합니다.